day after a pair of 68s. Opening par attempt for Michelle. The putting has been improving, but not there. Early bogey, and the lead was back down to 2. At the same hole, tries to drop it on top of Lexi with a birdie of her own. So after the bogey at the first, birdie for Wee at the third, and the lead remained 2, the final group, and Michelle Wee, Roger.
Just a really big tee shot here. 125 left. Drove it up the right-hand side, landed in the brownish area, right of center, got a big hop. Well, this is hanging right, and she can't be fond of that.
Just barely stays on the right edge. And back over at Soak Up, the U.S. Women's Open, in her very first try at age 11.
What about Wee's birdie putt here, Raj?
Pretty much the same putt. Not quite the same line. May move just a little right as it traverses the first part up a hill, and then as it levels out some, I think it'll come back to the left slightly.
And if you haven't seen Michelle Wee in the last several months, this is the putting style that seems to have staying power, the tabletop style that she adopted last year late.
Well, this got to go.
Well, the tabletop style has really worked for Michelle this year. She's putting better than.
Back to 8. And we left with a little bit for par here, no doubt.
Again, I think just a slight turn to the left here.
You see the physio tape on Michelle's left leg. She's had that pretty much all championship week long. Just her knee says it kind of keeps it more in place, kind of keeps the blood flowing over on that side. It's become kind of an artistic expression as well.
Man.
Nicely done.
Yeah, good putt. She remains without a 3-putt in this championship.
Stays at 4 under, even on the day.
There at the third as we go back to 9.
And that's what Lexi is coming off of at the 8th, the double, as they stare down at the 170-yard par 3 ninth. And Michelle Wee, with the honor, has reeled off 5 straight pars since a bogey and a birdie in the first 3 holes.
Michelle's got a 7-iron here, and a hole located on the left rear portion of the green, upper level plateau to the left. And the wind coming a little left to right. It's not a pretty good line.
Yeah, it should release and run a little right. Yeah, that's great. Underneath the hole.
Back 3 in a row to get it back to even, and finally Michelle Wee gets to play a shot.
Raj, this is almost on the identical line that Thompson just putted on, right?
Had to get a great look at it. Very makeable.
So what of a turn of events as we saw in the final round at the first major, when Lexi just raced out ahead of Michelle, played really aggressive golf, ended up winning that first major by 3 over Michelle. And now Wee puts a birdie alongside Thompson's double, moves it to 5 under, and she's now 6 down to the final group. Lexi Thompson and Michelle Wee, and there is Wee at the 10th.
Tee shot starts up the right, driving back. This is it hard. This is a beautiful looking tee shot here.
This thing is going to run a long way, Roger. And she will have no difficulty reaching that green in 2. If she can hit it, she'll have to settle for par. And we go back to Michelle Wee now, Roger.
There's no more than a 7-iron here. There's very little air moving, but what there is helping the player slightly here as well. So I just think a nice right to left 7-iron and would be the right club.
That was a beautiful 7-iron. She played at 9.
I think Michelle has been the favorite from the very start. Just with her length and her ability to hit the different shots around the greens.
10 to get to 2 under, but Michelle Wee in control of the U.S. Women's Open. She has not won a major yet at age 24.
Rock your body in, make it knock knock when you're partying. Take a break right in the audience. Do you footwork right inside again? I'm looking sharp, you can't compete with a champ. Steady
Morning, boys.
peeking, I'm holding down that leg, you're right. Hey, uh-oh, so dig, you ain't slick, nah. Acrylic face, taco go. Clothes on my back, the paint on my toes. Stay fresh, cause it comes from the go.
2002, 18 holes local, 36 holes sectional. And Michelle Wee getting ready at the 10th.
And along with caddy Duncan French, have looked really hard at this putt, Roger. Some 40 feet almost.
I would say a little bit more than that. And I think through the first part of the putt, it might go a little bit to her left. When you get up near the hole, there's a slope that comes into the green out of the bunker to her left that may straighten it up some.
And with a conservative game plan this week, she has putted brilliantly her lag putts. Pretty good.
Well, I want to take a look. Michelle Lee made a big change this week. She flattened her putter. This is from earlier this year at the Kraft Nabisco. And I want to show you here. Look how the toe of the putter is off the ground. Now, her instructor, David Ledbetter, has been telling her for quite some time, with this change in your setup position, the putter needs to be flatter. Well, they literally flattened it 4.5 degrees, Annika, which is a big difference. And now the putter is sitting flat on the ground when
Is the world's greatest cyclists begin that ride for glory. Back to 10.
And Michelle Wee for birdie. Rolling it beautifully. I asked David Ledbetter this morning why she hadn't changed the loft on her putter before. Now she has herself a 4-shot lead at the U.S. Women's Open.
Michelle Wee, the leader by 4 at the Women's Open, off the tee at 11.
A lengthy par 4 here at 444 yards, and that is left.
Immediately deep into the pines.
She has a tendency to be a little quick in her transition. You can see she gets to the top and then fires very quickly with her hips.
Yeah,
Look at that.
Now she tries to get the club coming back down before she moves the hips, but sometimes, Annika, it seems as though her swing to me gets shorter and shorter. And the shorter the swing, the easier it is to get quick in the transition. Let's take a look at this par 4, 11th, 444 yards, slight dog leg to the right. You see the shaded area there at about 180 yards. That's where the men were playing most of their second shots from. Last Saturday in the Men's Open's third round. Wonderful hole here. Green angled slightly from players right to left. Hole location today over on the middle right portion of the green, so you actually can chase the ball up.
Tenuous, but then still so poised at times on the golf course.
All right, here we have the pine needle shot for Michelle Wee, who went way off track, Roger, at 11.
Yeah, in the pine straw over here left of the fairway amidst the pine trees, and just really doesn't have any chance to weave it through this forest forward, so is looking sideways to pitch either sideways or a little backwards even across the bunker left of the fairway, and then it has to stop it before it gets the rough on the other side coming out of this pine straw. Not necessarily a slam dunk automatic. You can do it.
56. There's no line to pop up. I think it should
Just coming out towards you.
I think it might. I don't think it's going to go it this one, right?
No, I don't
Put
think
it
so.
down on it a little bit.
It's no wonder Lucy Lee's following this group. Lexi Thompson was 12 when she played her first Women's Open. Michelle 13. So they kind of know the early drill at this championship.
We'll want this to get down.
Drew?
Just on the edge.
Yeah, just on the edge, but that's very similar to where we saw Paula Creamer just have so much problem with her approach.
What's the secret out of pine needles, Annika?
You got to hit the ball first. Yeah, I would put the ball further back in the stands and make sure the hands are in front, so you really don't get the club to turn over.
Send you back to 11.
And the third's upcoming for both Michelle Wie and Lexi Thompson, Roger.
Yeah, Michelle, 192 left.
I think it's because I hit it on my back foot. I think it's
Actually
gonna roll
just
out
off the edge of the fairway here, but the lie's good as she can get the club squarely on the back of the ball, so that's not an issue.
Yeah. Just like that 180 shot, yeah?
Yeah.
She borrowed a couple of yardage books from Keegan Bradley and Ricky Fowler, kind of worked it into her own color-coded
Said she
manner to
more homework for this event than any other golf tournament she has ever tried to prepare for.
Yeah, if she's done her homework well, she knows she can roll it up from the front to the center of the green.
Yeah, just playing a low one going up to the left side of the green.
and that abbreviated finish comes up a little short. So Wie's there in 3 at this par 4. Check out this ball strike.
Well, this is one of the best golf swings in women's golf today. Look at the way she compresses that ball. You see how the divot is really starting way behind the ball. You know, coming into this championship, she was really one we talked about. Everybody said she hits it so high, but talking to her in the press conference, she says, I really hit it low.
He served as the manager, golf secretary, and club president here at Pinehurst. Now over to the 4th shot for Michelle Wie at 11, just trying to salvage a bogey somehow. And this one gets away.
Yeah, she's been struggling out of the bunkers. She's managed to make some long putts after a few bunker shots, but I have yet to see her.
And a long way away for bogey 5, Roger.
Yeah, about 25 feet, and this all uphill, and will turn from her right to left.
What a year it's been, Annika, for Michelle Wie. This resurgent year, won for the 3rd time, 8 top 10s in 12 events. She's already equaled the number of top 10s in a season in her career so far this year.
Yes, and an interesting stat is she's had 2 rounds in the 60s in the 30 rounds of the U.S. Open, and that's what she had starting out this week.
But in danger of dropping 2 here.
But it's really this part of the game that has improved the most. And I think it's given her a lot of confidence in her entire game.
But a double bogey for Wie, and that is going to drop the leader down to 3 under, and that moves everybody a little closer. Putting average ranks the last 4 years on the LPGA Tour. I don't know if anybody's putting stroke has been talked about more than Michelle Wie's, but look at the improvement, and since that tabletop adopted style, especially here in 2014, all the way up into the top 5.
I don't know if she has patented this setup.
Now, the one thing to me that would add to her confidence is that, you know, she came up with this on her own. You know, it wasn't like somebody suggested this. And, you know, when she proves that it works, that's great confidence.
How about the way
Location is today all the way back 28 steps.
Well, in Thursday's first round from this tee, Michelle drove it within 71 yards of the hole. So it's kind of a runway down there. You get that hot hook going that she can hit, and it can chase a long way. This is to the right, blocked native area, I believe. Maybe even pine trees.
Well, that may be a little compensation for the tee shot on the previous hole. You hit one way left. You think about it on the next tee.
Let's go up to 3rd shot lead over Amy. Here's the last swing. That ball starts right and heads further right.
the U.S. Women's Open titleist tomorrow night.
We're back at 12, and Roger, after going left off the tee at 11, Michelle Wie went way right here at the 12.
Yeah, and balls come to rest on a sand path to the right of the fairway here, and those are not considered obstructions. There's no relief. Ball's played as it lies, and has a line of pine trees between herself and the hole that's going to get in the way, and there's also a cross bunker short right of the green that would be a problem. So she can advance this some, but it's basically
Stand nice and still, please, guys.
Fairway.
Left of the whole sign? Yeah.
One of the keys here, Annika, to me, would be to try to make sure you get the ball to a number, to an area where you know you are comfortable playing a 3rd shot. Not just necessarily pitching the ball out, but trying to pitch the ball out to where you have a good number for your next shot.
and make sure you get out of trouble.
All right. And it's safely in the center of the fairway.
And in the green grab.
It has been a resurgent year for American golfers, Annika, in this country as they take aim at their biggest title here.
Yeah, we talk about talent. We see it in this group right here with both Michelle and Lexi Thompson.
And Stacey Lewis reclaiming the #1 ranking in the world. 10 more putts through 2 rounds than Michelle Wie.
Back to 12.
Where Michelle Wie is about to hit her 3rd. Roger, what is she looking at?
Yeah, 60 yards to the hole. Now there is a low area about midway back on the green that runs the ball off to the left. So that's something to pay attention to. And if she gets a little too aggressive and gets much past the hole, it will run off the back. So not a simple little pitch. I would think you'd want to keep this a little bit right of the hole.
It's funny, the swing didn't resemble the practice swings. The practice swings were very aggressive. She got down into the ground with them, and that swing was a little, to me, more tentative, and she didn't strike down, kind of got the ball a little.
That one seems to be just okay. And here's Michelle Wie now, Roger, for a long par save.
Yeah, and this one's going to have a little left turn in it as well. Going along nicely, and then suffer a double bogey, and now looking to maybe give away another stroke here. It really kills momentum. Get playing defensively on a U.S. Open golf course, and it becomes very tough.
Roger, does it look like Michelle ever looks at the leaderboard?
No, not really. I don't think she pays much attention to him. And I don't know that there's any real need to look at him right now at this stage in the proceedings anyway.
How close attention did you pay to leaderboards? I guess it depended on the moment, Annika.
Yeah, I like watching leaderboards because I wanted to know where, where I was standing.
Not for the first time today, Dan and Annika. Michelle is not alone atop that leaderboard. She now has some company. Amy Yang and Michelle Wie right there at 3 under par.
Where she is from. And back to 13.
And Michelle Wie.
And to Hybrid here, I'm looking for that low darter up here. Try to hit a low one, straight wind, chase it down there. That's just what she's trying to do, and has done it well. She'll be fine.
Yeah, gets it over on the left side of the fairway, which will give her a much better angle to the hole that's cut on the front right.
Back to 13.
Roger, you don't get many green light specials at Pinehurst, but this may be one for Michelle.
Great angle here, 104. Still think you want to look a little left of the hole as this is headed.
That will wander on outside of Lexi Thompson's, and she will show her the exact line of which Michelle.
Up in the village of Pinehurst, where Michelle Wie would like to make it her first major championship title. She's out at the 13th.
And this putt for birdie.
Should move just a little bit to the right, I would think.
Nearly every player has missed to the right. Not Michelle. That was way wide left. That might have missed her line by almost a foot. Over to 15.
We're again for the 2nd consecutive day here at Pinehurst.
A couple of par attempts left here at 13. Michelle Wie will be first.
Not much in this, just being very, very careful.
It just does not look comfortable, does it?
Well, but it looks simple to me, Dan, in that once she gets into that position, it's very easy to just rock your shoulders. You can see she gets her arms locked in against her side. So there's very little hand or arm motion, and she just kind of rocks back and forth. Now the putter, the toe of the putter is still up in the air a little bit, and it's been flattened 4.5 degrees this week. So
how'd you do that, Gary? How'd you make Phil into a right-hander?
Well, you know, the magic
technology.
of our production people are really good.
Yes, they are.
And he actually is right-handed. He just plays golf left-handed.
Well, that one's in good shape as well. So Thompson and Wee have had their problems. That was at the 15th, and now back to Michelle Wee at 14.
Definitely trying to flight this ball down, see if she can land it short and skip it back. That's not a very good shot.
Now the whole location today is 29 paces.
See how Michelle Wee handles this off the 14th.
A bit of a down slope, so the shot will be low. And not too bad, Annika. Anytime you can get it within 10 feet of the hole and give yourself a chance to save par, you're not going to be terribly unhappy.
When she was just 14 years old and having quite a week at Pinehurst in her professional debut. And back to Michelle Wee for par.
And if she was paying attention, Annika, I should have seen Lexi's ball move a little left as it got up around the hole.
You could see her caddy there early on, really sitting low, trying to help her with the line. Some players like caddies read them, and some players do not want them to help them.
Got to hit it.
It really looks like both of them are a little cautious on the greens today.
So Michelle Wee had it to 6 under just a few holes ago. Double at 11, bogey at 12, another bogey at 14, and all of a sudden Amy Yang sits on top by herself. And there's a look at the Wee start with a bogey and then 2 more birdies on the front 9. Birdied the 10th to get to that 6 under number, but then +4 golf in the last 4 holes. Lead is gone.
So we stay here now with Michelle Wee, who for the first time steps up on a tee box and does not have either the outright or a share of the lead.
This is the shortest par 3 on the golf course today.
Now this is a 7-iron.
Now, Roger, I heard her say, you know, try a little 3/4 cut 7-iron. So obviously trying to play a pretty elaborate shot here. Let's see how she pulls it off.
Shot she is trying to play.
So she pulled it off pretty well.
Absolutely. Well done there by Michelle Wee. She'll have a birdie attempt.
So a chance for a par there for Amy, and we go back to 15.
Where Michelle Wee is looking at a birdie attempt here, Raj.
And a pretty good look here. Not a lot of break in this, but might go a little bit to her left. Lexi has already putted up short of the hole, and we'll have a shortish putt left for par. I would think she's got a feeling she's got a great chance to hold this putt.
Adjusted move to the left is what she saw there as we send you back to 16.
To the tee at 16.
Michelle Wee.
A solid tee shot. The right center of the fairway, drawing just a little bit. That's very good.
You know, it's a good shot when the player picks up the tee immediately.
Let's take a look at this 16th hole. Extremely long and difficult par 4, 461 yards. The only water on the golf course that doesn't really come into play. That is the area right there where the men played from last Saturday after their tee shots. Most of them had an average of 250 yards in. Ladies will hit it much further down the fairway today, but may hit the same approximate clubs into this green. It'll be a long second shot. Lots of issues here if you don't hit the ball into the center of the green. Everything repels to the right if you're headed right, to the left if you're headed left.
In your eye. 16.
And Michelle Wie, second shot, dead center of the fairway. Popular spot is short, and that one is short, but on the green, so she'll have a birdie attempt, albeit a long one.
And start Googling yourself. Not a lot of great things happen.
Over at 16 now, Michelle Wie with a long one for birdie, Roger. Let's take a look first at the pinpoint animation. You can see it's pretty severely uphill, 65 feet. And the direction is not the issue. It's got a gentle break to the right, but not a big one. Pace the issue here.
Gary, you mentioned, you know, Michelle being so steady on short putts. I would think that this tabletop would make it really difficult for a longer swing.
I would agree. I think, you know, you would have to rotate your shoulders so much to create the momentum and the speed to hit the ball.
Thrown in, but that one shot really changed everything for Lexi. Now Michelle Wie for par.
Yeah, same kind of thing. A little shorter putt, just there's not much going on back here by the cup.
Her three-putt avoidance has been impeccable. Very solid stroke there. Slowly that back is moving a little bit up from parallel to the ground. She calls it a drawbridge right now. It goes up about 1/4 of an inch a week.
For her again this week here.
Who knows? Could be the beginning of a long relationship there as we go back to Michelle Wie.
And she has 8 iron.
Again, 161-yard par 3.
Yeah, it does play downhill some, 4 or 5 yards.
Holding the pose.
And Annika, I would think that that's within just a few feet of where she was aiming.
That was a smart.
Of thunder showers earlier in the day, that kind of disintegrated a bit. We had a good weather week last week with the men, hoping to get out of here unscathed for the ladies. Now Michelle Wie for birdie. Over at 17.
You know what impresses me the most, I think, is, you know, today, despite a few mistakes, Michelle is really keeping her composure and still smiling out there.
Well, she constantly used the word fun. I want to go out and have fun. And let's face it, Michelle Wie has been through in her career under the microscope from such an early age, the up and down turbulent things that have happened in her career. This was Michelle Wie's tee shot at 18, now tied for the lead with Amy Yang while we were away.
She can hit a good one here with these tees moved up. She'll have a very short second shot in, and she has done it.
So Wie in good shape now, the only player other than Yang under par for the championship. Inkster, Meadow, Na-Yun Choi.
Dancing.
Did you see that shaft? It looked like you almost would break.
It's just crazy. The torque that she gets on it now. Michelle.
It's just 96 yards just right of the hole.
She played a beauty in here in the first round,
Yes,
Raj,
she
with a
did.
little wedge, little low spinner, just like that one.
Well, wouldn't it be one of those storybook kind of moments for Michelle Wie if she's able to pull this off right here on the mainland? Of course, she's won 3 times, but none of them have come in the mainland U.S. Hawaii, Canada. She has not gotten the job done and has not gotten the job done in a major championship. And again, you forget she's just 24 years old. It seems like we've been watching her. We have since she was a young teenager when she got into position to win majors at that young age, and then the precipitous fall. Went to Stanford, kind of almost rebooted her career, and boy has she been consistent this year, probably the most consistent in her entire career. And guess who has not left this group? Little Lucy Lee. The 11-year-old who shot a pair of 78s has been following Wee and Lexi Thompson all day long. I wonder how many ice cream cones she's had today. Over under is probably about 3. So the final pair at 18.
Bumping around. Just a fantastic job by the staff here to get these greens in the condition they are in and have stayed in for the 2 weeks.
Now can Michelle Wee topper and get sole possession of the lead?
Yeah, this is a lick your chops putt here. You like these, a little uphill and a little right to left.
Michelle was the 54-hole leader in the 05 and 06 Women's Opens. Just a little bit too strong, but a good solid putt.
You know, it might not be such a bad thing not to be the leader coming into the last day. She's been the leader most of the week, and it's tough to be the leader, to sleep on the lead and go out there with all the eyes looking on you. Now she has to share the spotlight.
So it'll be Wee and Yang in the final group.
And I would think too, Hanukkah, she has to, feel like she's kind of gotten away with something. I mean, it's very rare in a U.S. Open that you play 4 really good rounds. I mean, you're going to have one day probably where you just don't quite have it. And if this ends up being her poor round, 72, that's not that bad on this golf course.
Yeah, no players ever shot all 4 rounds in the 60s at a U.S. Women's Open. Michelle had a chance as the day began with those pair of 68s that gave her the 3-shot 36-hole lead, and she will be tied for the 54-hole lead with Amy Yang. So everybody in on this Saturday at Pinehurst, and Michelle Wee is in position to win on the mainland here at the Mecca of American golf, Pinehurst #2. Rough patch for Michelle came in the early stages of that back 9 with a double at 11. Bogeys at has to be the biggest draw in ladies golf. Michelle Wee, 24 years old, has been on the scene a long time, taking care of her fans, all the little girls who one day dream of maybe being in her position in a 54-hole leader position at this Women's Open. And we'll hear from Michelle in just a moment. In the meantime, some examples from her day. It wasn't a great start. Misses a par putt at the first, which dropped Michelle from 4 under to 3 under, but then kept it together. A birdie attempt here at the short par 4 third.
Lexi Thompson just made a birdie before Michelle, and then she topped it here.
And then Lexi Thompson also birdied the 5th to get to 3 under, and it looked like Michelle Wee would match her, but
Yeah, the putts didn't go in today, Dan. 55 putts through the first 2 rounds, 34 on the greens today.
all right, rest pars until this 9th hole.
Yeah, this hole was playing a little longer today, 170 yards, but she hit a beautiful shot there and used the ridge to get closer to the hole.
Made the birdie to get to 5 under. And then some problems at 11, but not before a nice hole at the 10th.
Yeah, par 5 with the tees moved up. Big drive by Michelle. Second shot of just 175 yards safely into the center of the green.
2-putt birdie from there. And then here's the problems at 11.
Yeah, here's the beginning of a stretch where they dropped a few shots. You can see a very quick backswing from Michelle, and she got into trouble with her driver here, and that certainly didn't help.
Ended up making a double bogey, so she drops from 6 under to 4 under, and then at the 12th.
Yeah, very next hole. And Dan, as a player, when you've gone left one time, you're thinking about not going left again. She didn't. This one went way right.
So even though Michelle had it to 6 under through 10 holes, I mean, she did.
Okay, thank you. With Michelle Wee. Michelle, we asked Amy the same question. What was it like out there for you today?
It was front nine was a lot easier than the back nine. It was good. The golf course was good. A couple of tees back, a couple of tees forward. It looked like the par fives I could really take advantage of, which I'm really happy I did today. Yeah, it's tough out there. You know, it's not easy.
Did anything happen at the turn, or was it the golf course that turned on you?
I think I just system just got a little overheated, just a little hot. But yeah, I just didn't drive it well a couple of holes, and you know, just really can't be on the trees here. Just punched out, and then didn't really leave myself in good position. But I felt like I grinded out there. I made a couple of good par putts coming in. But yeah, I mean, overall, I can't complain still.
For those of us watching from outside the ropes, what is the pressure like in the third round in the final group of a U.S. Women's Open?
You don't sleep very well, but it's fun. It's a lot of fun. I mean, I'd much rather be nervous and all of that on the first tee than kind of just not being in contention. I'm just so happy being in contention. It's a lot of fun. I'm definitely obviously very nervous, but yeah, it's a lot of fun.
You've gained a lot of experience. We talked about this yesterday afternoon. Throughout the years, especially in the last 6 months when you played so well, you had a chance at the Kraft Nabisco, the season's first major, months ago. Now you have another chance coming up tomorrow. Do you apply any of those experiences that you learned that day in the California desert, or is it a completely different ball game this week?
I think somewhat you can learn somewhat from that, but overall I'm just grateful to have another opportunity. I'm just really grateful that I have a chance to win. Tomorrow I'm just going to go out there and play as hard as I can. Who knows what will happen, but I'm going to hope for the best and try my best tomorrow.
Last thing, you were the favorite coming in. You're probably the favorite with 18 holes to play. What's that like?
It's a lot of fun. It feels great, being an American, kind of, being in contention for our, national championship means a lot to me. So I'm just going to go out there and, play with pride and try the best I can.
Been terrific so far. We'll see you on Sunday. Thanks, Michelle.
Thank you.
Dan, back upstairs.